Alright, everybody, welcome back to the Arena Football Nation channel. I hope you are doing well. And in today's video, we get a recap of all the action in Week 4 of the National Arena League. We had 3 games on the docket, spanning from Friday, March 28th through Saturday, March 29th. And it was some good action. You had 2 intriguing matchups to decide some early onset standings for the National Division, and 1 rematch between 2 bitter rivals. So let's get right into it. Alright, in game 1, we had the rematch from the early season game between the Columbus Lions and the Carolina Cobras. And it was obviously not a very good showing for the Cobras in that last matchup. Columbus Lions looked really good, really strong in there, and really just took it to the Cobras. So looking to see a bounce back by Carolina, see if they have some fight in them. Obviously, it's at their home turf this time, so you're going to have that home field advantage. And hopefully, Coach got them going in the right direction, fixed some schemes or issues that may have plagued them in that game. And it turned out to be a really solid game, a really good, tight matchup. I mean, it was through 3 quarters, a really good game. Got to give it to the Cobras and the adjustments they made. And Columbus just looked a little wonky out the gate. Throughout the game, it had some issues here and there. But overall, they're still a pretty strong showing for them as well. But like I said, a really solid game through 3 quarters. It was a close game with some high emotions, but the Cobras were obviously able to pull away big there with that final score line with some great defensive stops. So it was a very great game, a very good game, and a big bounce back for the Carolina Cobras as they win the game 40-20. But like I said, it was not that final score line is not indicative of how close and the game was overall. But really big bounce back for the Cobras. I gotta think the Lions just did not have it all there. Something I think was just high emotions for it being like a rivalry game. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna bounce back. Gotta say MVP of the game had to be James Summers for the Cobras. Did a really great job of leading that offense and keeping it together to pull a lot of good drives together and make some solid plays. And obviously that defensive stops, there at the end for the Cobras were also very indicative of them earning that win. So, really good solid game. And this just sets up that rubber match. You have a 3rd game this season on Saturday, May 3rd. So looking to take all the marbles there in that rubber match game. So looking forward to that one as well. All right, let's get into game 2. And like I said, the next 2 games, National Division Conference, we won't call it, matchups. You had the Idaho Horsemen traveling to take on the Omaha Beef. And like I said, I was really interested to see how these games would go, this one, the next one, because it was going to be really indicative of how the National Division is going to shape up, and can some of these other teams knock off the Beef or the Bandits, the old guard, these teams that are used to leading the division. And like I said, man, he had a lot of answers in this one. Idaho gave it the best I thought they could. He had a really good matchup. Idaho had their chances. Beef looked a little slow to start, but overall that home field advantage and the senior team aspect of the game really came into play. But like I said, Idaho had their chances. It was a back and forth, grinded out type of low scoring affair for most of the game. Where home field advantage obviously took and played a big part for some crucial stops for the Beef. But penalties and mistakes couldn't sustain a second half Beef resurgence after leading 12-9 at halftime. MVP for the game had to go to Jashawn Washington with some crucial defensive plays when the team needed them, including a decisive drive-ending interception before halftime and a significant sack leading the team to victory with 5 tackles. So, like I said, senior leadership as a team as a whole really took over there at the end. He had some crucial stops, and Beef with a big stop there at the end to give them the win, pulling away 24-28, just edging the Idaho Horsemen out. And Idaho Horsemen, they gave it the best shot. I really thought they were going to. My pick was to see Idaho, upset some people this year, and season's clearly not over. There's still plenty of time left. But, I love to see the improvement. Idaho looked really impressive. Really impressed with how they took the defending champions to the brink there a little bit. But like I said, the Beef just pulling the way there at home to get that win. And in our final game of the week, we had Colorado Spartans traveling to take on the Sioux City Bandits. And this game was another close game. You had a really another interesting matchup, as I really expected the Colorado Spartans to be one of the teams to knock off some of these old guard teams this season. Fred Shaw's been doing a great job coaching them up, and I've seen the improvement drastically from compared to last season into this one. So really great matchup here. Sioux City ended up holding off the Spartans. Too many issues they couldn't overcome, and just like I said with the Beef, that leadership with the senior team like the Bandits and the great coaching, they found a way to win. And with this one, you got a final score of 35-26. So really good showing there for the Bandits as well. You got that home field advantage, like I said, just like with the Beef. It's really hard to go in these arenas and win and knock off these teams. So really impressed with the Bandits pulling away with the win there. And like I said, that was a really a decisive game really for that national division. It's going to be one of those three in my opinion. Of course, the Horsemen could turn it around, and they're playing really well. Of course, so it could really be anyone's, but to win that national division, or at least come second for the playoffs. But really excited to see how it goes the rest of the season. I fully expect some adjustments to be made by the Horsemen and the Spartans. So it's going to be a real barn burner there at the end to decide that division. All right, so players of the week. Offense has got to go to QB James Summers. He led the Cobras in that decisive, revenge game there against the Columbus Lions. Did a great job leading the offense and being decisive with his plays and leading that offense. So offense has got to go to him. Defensive, it's got to be Marcus Gray with the Omaha Beef. Making some key stops and doing a great job there on the defensive side to hold off that surging Idaho Horsemen team. And special teams players of the week, got to go to Greg Connery with the Sioux City Bandits. Did a great job kicking the ball. He's been pretty lights out all season, so congratulations to him. Doing a great job with the leg out there in Sioux City. And with that, you have a look at the standings after 4 weeks of play in the NAL. Got the Beef on top there in the National Division, 3-0 now. Looking pretty solid. Holding off these teams. They're still undefeated. 3-0 going into this 2012 season to defend their championship. So, like I said, pretty close matchups already. So they're going to have to do, they're going to have to pull off some magic to continue to be this dominant all throughout the season. Because the other teams are getting better and right there behind them, chasing them to knock them off. So Beef still in the top in the National Division. Next up, you got the Bandits, 2-1, right there behind the Beef. You have that one loss, that early season loss. That was a little bit of a head scratcher. But other than that, they're looking pretty good as well. Then of course you got the Spartans at 1-2, them, and then the Idaho Horsemen at 0-2. So only 14 division, like we said before, and really could be anyone's division. We're still early in the season. You've seen some great things from the other teams. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes down there at the end. Then, in the American division, you have the now tie at the top with Columbus Lions, 2-1. Got the edge just for that percentage difference. And then the Cobras at 2-1. So, like I said, that road match is looking more interesting by the day, as it could have implications for the playoffs. Then you got, of course, the Beaumont Renegades only played one game. Really weird to see that they've only played one game. So interesting to see how that scheduling has played out. So we have a lot of questions with them. The one close win against the Bandits and nothing since then. So going to be interesting to see how they look in more games going forward. Then you have obviously the Rigger at 1-1 and the Miners at 0-3. So still wide open there on the American division as well. Nothing's really set in stone. Miners need to get it going. Obviously, sitting at 0-3, that's not where they expected to be or want to be. So it'll be interesting to see how they rebound. But other than that, that would be the end of the video I appreciate everybody checking out the video. Like I said, if you enjoy this kind of content, please leave me a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, as we cover everything arena indoor football for the rest of the year. Alright, everybody, I appreciate you checking out the video. See you in the next one.